Hey guys, welcome back to Milestones podcast. It's your host Daniela Owusu, and I'm so glad that you guys decided to join in for another new episode of the podcast today. I hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. I have not recorded a podcast episode in a couple weeks now, and I really missed it, so I'm so happy to be back. But our last time, having a podcast episode was that 4-part series, Becoming Your Best Investment, which I literally had so much fun recording, and I hope that you guys also enjoyed it too. I truly think that it changed my life, just recording it and looking into things for it and hearing what you guys had to say about it. So if you haven't checked out that series, you should definitely check it out. I really do think that it will at least change your perspective on some things, if it doesn't change your life completely or inspire you to change your life. So definitely check it out. But today we are talking about burnout. I just finished up my 6th semester of college, thank you God, and I keep coming back to this feeling of burnout, and it's something that I've been wanting to talk about on the podcast. Is just that feeling of you're sitting at that paper and you feel like you just can't do it. You know that you studied for it, you know that you put on all this hard work, and you just can't even answer the question. And it's not that you're lazy, it's just you can't. It's happened to me 2 times. It happened to me this semester. It always happened spring semester for me, and it happened spring semester of my sophomore year as well. I don't know if any of you guys have gone through it too, but it's not something fun. So I kind of wanted to shed light on what burnout really feels like, because I feel like burnout is a word that we use a lot in our daily vocab, and we just throw it around I'm so burnt out, And it's are you really burnt out or are you not? So kind of looking into burnout and other people's experiences with burnout and my experience with burnout, I found that burnout is kind of closely linked to you just know that you have to get these things done. You know that you want to get these things done, but you just physically can't. It's you're sitting there looking at that page and you know that you know the stuff, but you just don't care anymore. You genuinely just don't care, and you want to care so badly because you're I know that this is supposed to help me with my future, but you just can't even bring yourself to study for this exam, do this assignment. And I feel like it happens a lot spring semester because you're just fighting tooth and nail after spring break. You just keep going. And honestly, after spring break, there's just so many exams and assignments, and then there's finals. You just keep going, and if you don't take care of yourself, it gets to a point where you feel like you can't keep going. I feel like for me, the best way to describe it is you're turning on the car engine, but the car's not starting. The car's just not starting, and you keep on turning it on. It's making that sputtering sound, and it's not fully starting. That's kind of how burnout feels for me. I literally have this crazy example. No one judge me for this, but during my chem final this semester, it was on a Thursday. I had spent 3 days studying for it, okay? And I would keep coming to study, and I would just sit there and I would stare at my computer. And there was this moment where I stared at my computer for 30 minutes, and I didn't even realize. I had a 30-minute timer. I set it. I went to go look at something and just sat there and stared. I was just so drained and so done that I literally just stared at my computer screen for 30 minutes, okay? Then we get to the exam that I spent 3 days studying for, right? I sit at that exam, I start to fall asleep. I literally fell asleep during my chem final exam. Okay, it wasn't even a fall asleep. It was kind of just a dozing off multiple times. And it got to a point where I just stared at that exam, and I just stared at it and stared at it and stared at it and stared at it. And I just kept rereading the same question over and over and over again. It wasn't a conscious thing. I was so exhausted to the point where when it finally counted, I couldn't even perform. And that's truly the scariest feeling ever. And I do not wish that on anyone. I reeled it back together. I went to the bathroom. I did jumping jacks. I did Frankensteins. I was doing a full on warm up in the bathroom to get myself to wake up. And I literally just sat in the bathroom and I prayed, and I was God, I don't know what's going on, but I can't do this without you. And I went back in there and I finished my exam and it was fine, but it was just so hard. And as college students, like life is already hard. College is already hard. These classes are already hard. But if we are pushing ourselves to the point where we're getting burnt out, it's going to be 10 times harder. It's going to be so much harder because then we can't even study. Then it's like we're doing all of this for nothing. And that's kind of how I felt during my exam. I was like, I worked so hard on this for no reason. That's kind of how it felt, but that's not true. I worked so hard on this and it's going to come out. I just needed to give myself time and I needed to literally call on God because in that moment, like I was kind of done for, like I was digging myself a hole. A lot of the times we don't notice how bad it is until we're at a point of no return and we're just like, what do we do now? And so that is kind of what I think that burnout kind of feels like. And if you have your own, like, perspective of how burnout feels, like please like share that with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But that's kind of how burnout felt for me and how it continuously feels for me. I looked into the causes of burnout and there are different thresholds and phases to burnout. So a lot of like what I'm talking about, and I think most college students will experience, like most people, will be that like first like early beginning phases of burnout, not full and complete full on burnout where like you genuinely can't do anything and can't get out of bed, and which is closely linked to depression. Truly, it's giving depression. But that early stage burnout where you just like are staring, or you just feel like you can't go to class, like you're just like, what's the point, like why am I doing this? That kind of like drained feeling, like that you want to do this but it's just like, why? That kind of feeling. All of that is caused from lack of rest. So if you're someone, like I said, like you come back from spring break, you have all these exams. A lot of the times, at least for me, this is the first time I've experienced this, where it's like you have friends that you want to hang out with, but there's also like people that that you won't see again. And so you want to hang out with everyone that you possibly can because maybe people are studying abroad the next semester, or people are graduating, or I don't even know. There's just like so many different things. Or you get to a point where like more people, so you want to hang out with more people before the summer starts and everyone's just like, hey, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. But then you also have to study for your exams, then you also have to go to work, and then you also have to show up for the friends that you have and show up for your roommates and show up for your family, and it's like a lot. And if you don't give yourself time to just be by yourself and give yourself time to rest, you're going to dig yourself into this hole of burnout. And that's literally what was happening to me and what happens to a lot of people, where like you genuinely cannot juggle that many things at once. It is literally impossible. And if you do, like maybe you'll be able to handle it. Maybe like the first couple weeks, maybe the first couple months, but it gets to a point where your body is going to give out. Like you're going to get sick. Your mind's going to give out. You're going to get burnt out. So you need to be taking care of yourself. You need to be resting. And so one of the major causes of burnout was lack of rest. Another cause of burnout that I found was giving too much of yourself. And I think this can happen to people that are people pleasers. And I can't even imagine like being a people pleaser, having to go through school, having to help your family out, having to have a social life, having to work, having to worry about your future all at once while being a people pleaser. I think that's so much. And you're giving so much of yourself and it's too much to the point where like you feel like you don't even know who yourself is. I think when you give so much of yourself, you're not pouring back into yourself. And a lot of us, like we have a capacity. We have a capacity, like a social battery or a capacity for life, a threshold for things that happen, right? And so if we are constantly like pushing things out and not pouring anything back in, we're gonna eventually run on empty. Imagine like your car, you keep driving it places, you're driving it here, you're driving it here, you're driving it here, but you're never putting gas back into that car. Eventually your car's gonna break down and it's gonna be super awkward. It's gonna be super awkward because you could have put that gas in, but you didn't. And so I think a lot of the time that happens to us where we just work so hard. We try to make everything perfect and try to please everyone and just try to make everything good to the point where we forget to pour back into ourselves, and then we get to a spot where we're on empty and nothing matters and you don't care, and then you start feeling like a bad person, and you start feeling like a bad friend or a bad roommate or a bad human, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person, and then everything's falling apart, and then the world's falling apart, and then you're stressed, and then you're burnt out, and it's like awful. And so let's not get there. Let's literally not get there. So I really wanted this episode to focus on combating burnout. And so I have a ton of ways that I've looked into, with things that I've done, things that I've been told, things that I found on the internet, like just so many tools that you guys can use to combat burnout if you ever feel yourself falling into that. And so I'm going to share them with you, and I hope that maybe you can try them. Maybe they can help you out. And if you guys have any of your own, like, please let me know. But first one is taking time for yourself. So obviously we kind of knew that was coming, but taking time for yourself, like truly, I know that people will set certain boundaries, like Sunday's like me day. Sunday's self-care night. I'm only gonna do self-care. I'm not gonna go hang out with anyone. Like Sunday's a day where nobody can ask me to hang out with them. Like that is my day to rejuvenate, to refresh, to pour back into my cup. I know that people love to take a Sabbath, which is something that I tried to do, but then the school guilt got to me because it was like, oh my gosh, like I could be studying right now, but I'm like sitting here laying in bed. And that's another reason why people fall into burnout, is when they are resting, they're not actually resting. When they're laying in bed and they're trying to take a break, they're just thinking about all the next things that they have to do, and it's just like, it's too much. So resting, purposely setting that time aside. So I'm a Google Calendar gal. If you are able to kind of plan out your self-care days, so let's say I want Sunday to be self-care day. So from Monday through Saturday, I am going to make sure that I get everything done that I could possibly want to get done before Sunday, so that on Sunday I can actually rest. On Sunday I can take that Sabbath, spend time with Jesus, to pour into myself, feed my spirit, feed my mind, go work out, fuel your body with food that you love, like maybe meal prep, cook something for yourself, like take care of yourself and kind of step into that act of self-care so that you are able to fill yourself back to that higher capacity of being able to deal with the stressors that come your way. And things like little minute problems won't set you over the edge, because now your capacity is back up, you filled up your cup, and you're ready to attack that new week. So setting time aside for yourself, really big one. Another one that I always talk about, guys, I always say, like, spend time with people that fill your cup, spend time with people that bring you joy. I do think that the people that you are around truly make or break seasons of life. I think that when you are around people that inspire you, that uplift you, that change your mindsets about things, that challenge you, that bring you excitement, like you're excited to see them, you're excited to talk with them, you're excited to talk about what they shared with you, you know, friends that teach you new things and get excited about things. Those types of friends that fill your cup, not take away, are friends that you need to combat burnout, friends that you need to help you navigate the burnout situation, because they're gonna bring that freshness and that newness to your life. So find the people that you know will fill up your cup. If you need to sit down and write a list of all your friends and write a list of the qualities that you know that you need in a friend that would help you throughout this burnout, or help you mitigate burnout, or help you combat burnout, write those qualities down, write those friends down, and just take out those friends that don't meet those needs that you need in that season of life. It's okay, but you need to work on you when you are dealing and trying to get rid of burnout, trying to navigate burnout. You need to focus on you. And so make sure that you are keeping in mind when you're around these friends, like taking note of, how are these people making me feel? What are they saying? Is what they're saying uplifting me? Is what they're saying making me feel like sadder? Like what's the haps? Ew. Okay. Anyways. Okay. So a little bit ago, Callie came on the podcast and we talked about polishing the present. It's something that she coined, which is something that her grandmother used to do, where you just make your day a little bit better by polishing the present. So let's say you are studying, and you always study, but you're in your room and you're like, how can I make this moment better? How can I savor this moment? How can I bring myself joy in this moment, even though I'm doing something that doesn't bring me joy? And she would probably say, like, to polish the present, get yourself a fun drink, open up the blinds, play some like lo-fi music that you really like, polish that present moment, make it just a little bit sweeter than it actually is, so that it feels just a little bit better. Let's say you come back home and it's time to eat dinner, but normally you eat dinner super duper fast because you have to go to the next thing. What if you just turned on a candle, grabbed like a fun drink instead of a water that night, just spent some extra time eating, maybe played some music that you like in the background? I don't know, but just like polishing the present, making it something that is just a little bit more enjoyable, and you're not just going through the daily mundane things of life, but you're just adding a little bit of a sparkle or a little bit of shimmer to your day. I always talk about like daily joys on the Instagram, which I feel like I should get back into, but daily joys, like trying to maybe create those daily joys, turning a daily task that isn't super fun into a daily task that would bring you joy. Like, I think that polishing the present is such an amazing thing to do. It's so easy. It's genuinely so easy, and it doesn't take that much to do so. You don't need to have a fancy drink to polish your present. You could just turn on some music. That's free. Open the blinds. That's free. Open up a window. Get some fresh air. Turn on a diffuser. I've been loving, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but I've been loving diffusing like eucalyptus oil. It just makes your room smell so good, and it's so soothing, and it's just a way to polish the present. So honestly, let me talk about that eucalyptus stuff. So something that I have been taught this semester was being able to catch yourself before you fall into spiraling, for example, or something like that. And so for a while during the semester, I would struggle with Monday through Thursday. I would be fine. Friday, I would literally crash out. Like, I was unwell, like did not know what to do with myself, like just wanted to stay in bed all day. My Fridays were just like really hard. Even though I had like fun things to do on Fridays, it was just so hard to like, really be present in it. And so something that I was taught was to just throughout the week, like every night, maybe turn on that diffuser, have that eucalyptus going, take a minute to myself, like journal for 10 minutes before I go to sleep, or play some music, do something soothing every night, so that once again, I'm filling myself back up, pouring just a little bit back into my cup, taking a little bit of some me time back into my day, so that I'm able to keep going when it hits Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So going off of that, another thing that I've learned is to make a list of signs that show that you are unwell, signs that you know yourself, like, hey, like when I stop showering every night, I know that I'm not doing well. Or when I stop doing my skincare routine, that's when I know that I need some extra support. Or when I stop meal prepping, that's when I know that maybe I'm like doing too much and I need to reel it back in, or I need to like sit with my feelings for a second. For me specifically, like whenever I don't journal at night or like do my night routine, that's like a red flag. Like, that's a red flag. Like, I need some time to myself. And so make that list of things, signs that you know that, hey, like whenever I do this, that means that I may be kind of falling or trickling into this kind of burnout or like depression type of thing. And with that, create another list, like, you know, like a little T chart thing, and that other side can have things that help you. So I know that, hey, when I don't want to journal, that's like something's going on. My thing to help me would be sit with my feelings, put a like meditation on or something like that, so that I can like kind of come into myself and like be, and then I would want to like journal. A lot of times I'm just like maybe running away from a feeling that I don't want to like express in my journal, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that right now. And so forcing myself to sit there and like meditate or pray really helps a lot. So write down the list of things that you know, signs like, hey, I need support if I'm exhibiting these signs. And then the other lists are, when I see these signs, what do I do to make sure that I'm okay? I feel like that's such a good idea, and you should definitely use it. My last tip for combating burnout, especially at the end of a semester, really hard one, is expressing yourself throughout the semester. Expressing yourself when, let's say, like you had a really hard exam and you're just like not happy about it. Instead of pushing that feeling down, maybe just literally something that I've done for the past three semesters is I have a Word doc on my computer, And I will literally, if after something like triggers me or like irks me, I will literally just sit there and just type, literally just type wall, door, like, and then it'll go into like how I'm feeling. But I just start off typing things, just typing words, and then my feelings will start to come. Sometimes I'll write poems that just like come out of nowhere, like just allowing yourself to freely express how you're feeling in a creative way. Maybe that's like painting, maybe that's like drawing or scribbling on a piece of paper, just like allowing yourself to get it out of you, so that once again, like, you're able to fill your capacity back up, you're able to fill your cup back up, so then you are able to step into things that you love and be there for the people that you love. That's a great way. I think something to note is that there are just so many different seasons of life that we're all going to go through. No season is going to look the same as another. Maybe it may seem like it's the same, but it's not the same. If maybe you're at school again, but that's not the same as you being at school the year before. You're a completely different person with new experiences from the summer, with new experiences from whatever. It's completely different. And so you can't expect yourself to navigate hard things and behave the same way that you did and expect the things that helped you last time help you this time, or expect the things that didn't trigger you to not trigger you this time. Maybe they will trigger you. And so you need to be flexible with yourself, be patient with yourself, and work with yourself to find things that you know that will help you become your best self, that will help you be okay, that will help you stay mentally strong, spiritually strong, whatever it may be. And so I think that's something I often lose sight of every semester. I'm like, okay, well, this worked last semester, so like, why isn't it working? And it's like, well, I'm not the same person that I was last semester. You're not the same person that you were 3 months ago. You're a different person. And even if you feel like you haven't grown, something did change and progress was made in some way. I am a firm believer that every single day that you wake up, every step that you take forward is a step in the right direction towards progress. Even if you mess up one day, that's still a step towards progress, because your mistakes don't define who you are, they help you become. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you are struggling with burnout or struggling with just like feeling burnt out, I hope that you are able to get yourself back to feeling your best self. I know that there are people that are like really burnt out and like need more support than just like smelling eucalyptus. So like, please really get the help and like seek out that help if you are there. But if you're someone that just like came back from a really hard semester and you just feel like nothing matters anymore, take some time for yourself, like journal, just let those feelings out, cry if you need to. I don't know, just take care of yourself, practice self-love. You really just need some love right now. I also wanted to throw in this little tidbit, and I don't know if anyone else is feeling this, but a lot of times post spring semester, a lot of the times, like when I go through finals week or especially spring semester, I just let myself go. Like, I don't take care of myself. I don't really pay as much attention to my health or to my hair or like all these things. And I just like, I'm like not the nicest person to myself. And when I come home, it's just like, but I highly encourage you, if you're in that spot, to, when you get home or as you are at home, take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, like do extra long showers if you want to, maybe change things up in your routine, in your day to day, make things different for yourself, try to add that spark back into your life, because I feel like my spark was diminished from last semester, but I'm also feeling like I'm gaining it back by just like trying new fun outfits and trying new things with my hair and just doing things that I love. And so if that is you, I really hope that you're able to step into that. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. I hope that it helped you in some sort of way. A quote that I wanted to leave you guys with is, happiness happens when you focus on how life feels and less on how life looks. And so I hope that as you get back home, as you kind of move into this new season of life, summer, that you're able to make your life feel so much better. You're able to take care of yourself so that you feel better in your body. You're able to just feed your spirit, spend more time with Jesus so that you feel spiritually well. And once you feel spiritually well, you're going to feel well in all other areas of your life. And so once you feel good inside, life is going to look a whole lot different. And so I hope that that really sticks with you. I hope that you guys try these different tips, even if you're not going through burnout, just try stepping into creativity, try stepping into something new. You never know what's going to happen. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, guys.